For me, I'm born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona. I grew up in Ahwatukee. My parents still live in Lakewood. I don't know if any of you guys know that area. I'm 32 years old. My parents have been living in the same house for 35 years. And unique reason is my dad played for the Arizona Cardinals as well. Really the St. Louis Cardinals, and then they came to Arizona. He played for the came from the Arizona Cardinals. My parents are from a bad neighborhood in California, Stockton, California, and my dad made it out of that area, played in the NFL. My parents moved to Arizona. My mom's like, we're gonna set roots. So I was born and raised here, went to Desert Vista High School, and in high school I became the top 5 recruit in the nation, led 24 and a half sacks as a junior. It was really a unique time for me because I'm sitting in science class and I see Nick Saban like knocking on the classroom door, like telling me to come out. So I'm able to like, ditch class and have lunch with Nick Saban and I come back to class like, hey, showing off to all my friends a little bit. But it was a really, really fun time in my life, being in that position from where I'm from. It was unique. But my senior year of high school came, and I had scholarship offers to go anywhere in the country. So I'm at the pinnacle of my life at that point, and could do anything. So much greatness ahead. And we're playing Chandler High School, and we're winning the game by 3 points, and we're on offense, and we just need to control the game at this point. And one of our running backs fumbles the ball. And I played running back too. I'm a defensive end, outside linebacker, but I played running back in high school. So my coach looks at me and was like, you want to go back in? Because, we need to secure this win. So being how I am, I'm like, hell yeah, I'll go back in. Let's do this. And I'll never forget. I'm line up at running back, throw a toss. I get the ball, and I love tosses because I get to run over corners and safeties. So I'm like, I'm about to run this little dude over. But he had the right angle on me before I can even get my shoulders down, hit me right in my knee. I tore my ACL, and I was devastated. Funny story. It's kind of not related, but I'll tell it anyways. So I was at the pinnacle, and then now I'm on crutches and in high school. And I remember going to high school prom, and I couldn't go with my friends on the school bus and all that before because I was on crutches. So I go to prom. They say they're going to be there by 8:30. So I get there at 8:30, and nobody's there but freshmen. And if you can go back to high school, it's like senior, and nobody's there for freshmen. I'm like, oh man. So I like hop all the way to the bathroom. And growing up, my mom said never sit on a public toilet. So I'm putting the toilet paper down. I don't even gotta go, but so I sit on the toilet. I'm just texting my friends like, where are you guys? What's going on? And they finally tell me they're there. So I rush out. I'm crutching out of there, and people are like laughing at me. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I'm on crutches. That's like a cold world out here. And little did I know, there's a whole string of toilet paper just hanging out of my pants. So I could laugh about it now, but like put yourself in senior high school mode, and that was like tragic for me. Like the most embarrassing thing in the world, on top of like being in crutches, feeling like my life is falling apart. And I thought that was gonna be the worst of the worst for me, but I decided to go to USC, because I was so good up until my injury. I still had all my scholarship offers. My dream was to always go to USC. I commit, and it became issue after issue. So I tore my ACL. I had a grade 4 microfracture in my hip. They had to shave down bone. I had to fix my labrum. Then I had 2 thumb surgeries. Then I'm finally my senior year. I'm getting ready for my senior year. I'm going to go ball out. And a week before camp starts, I'm benching 435 pounds for 5 reps. And on the 3rd rep, my pec pops off the bone and rolls into my chest, and I have to get surgery. Along with all those injuries in college, I had 3 different head coaches. I changed positions every year. I had a new position coach every year. So I come from being, top 5 recruit in the nation to just storm after storm after storm in college. And to be honest with you guys, I go through bouts of anger, frustration, depression, anxiety. I started to have a lot of resentment because, I've always been a person who was very tunnel visioned. I'm going to make the sacrifices the next guy isn't willing to make. You know, there's a difference between what's mandatory and what's necessary. Everybody does what's mandatory, right? Like if you want to make a little money, you're going to go and do what's mandatory to be an agent. But you guys are in this room because you guys have gone beyond and done what's necessary, and done what's necessary to excel and be a top 50 producing agent. So, you know, I felt like I always had that mindset. Like I was in college and I'm seeing all my friends, and they got their priorities messed up. They're going out and partying, Nothing's wrong with that, but I always wanted to make sure my schoolwork was done and I got the extra work in. I did what I needed to do. I handled my business the right way before I went and enjoyed myself like that. I'm seeing guys making the opposite decision, but they're having more success on the field. So for me, that gave me a lot of resentment. Like, why does this guy get to ball out? Why is, you know, he's seeing all this success, and I'm over here with injuries, coaching changes, position changes, and I just going through, the roughest time. And I'm like, I have this vision of what my life is supposed to look like, and it's not playing out that way. I feel like it's falling apart. So I'm going through all this and like trying to sort through, like, man, what's going to happen for me? Why is this happening to me? And my senior year, my redshirt senior year, so my true senior year, I tore my pec. I had the red shirt, so that was devastating in itself. All my homies is going to the league or starting their life, and I got to go back to college now for one more year. So I come back, and before the season, I told myself I'm going to do 3 things every day. I'm going to glorify God, I'm going to be relentless, and I'm going to have fun. And if I can look at myself in the mirror every day and say, I did those 3 things, however this plays out this last year of college, I can live with myself. I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to have a successful year. I don't know if I'm going to get hurt, but I can look at the man in the mirror if I know I glorify God, I'm relentless, and I have fun. And the reason why those 3 things were so important for me is that during that time period, I kind of lost my faith. And I don't know if you are religious, it doesn't really matter, but faith is important to me. And it was like I felt like I was kind of mad at God, and I needed to build a relationship back with him. I felt like I needed to be relentless because I was letting my situation kind of take my foot off the gas. Like, stuff's not going good for me, so I wasn't pressing on the gas as much, really pushing myself to be the best that I could be. And then what was really important was the have fun aspect, because I lost the concept of having fun in what I was doing. Because it wasn't going well, which maybe you guys can relate. Maybe you're not didn't sell as many homes this year. So, have you forgotten why you love doing what you do? Have you forgotten what about the real estate agent game and buying and selling houses and picking up clients? Like, have you forgot the fun in that because it's not going well right now? Well, that's what I had to remind myself. So I did that every day. I would look myself in the mirror at the end of the day, and I did those 3 things. And fast forward to the end of my redshirt senior year, I ended up having 9.5 sacks, a bunch of TFLs, put myself in position to get drafted, and and I'm going through the draft process. So if anybody knows, it's like you're freaking going through interviews, but I'm in like at the combine, they got you in tights, and you literally like have to stand in front of every team, and they're looking over every part of your body, getting X-rays, MRIs. All these tests, and it's really kind of dehumanizing, because it's like they keep us up all night, they drug test us, they do all this stuff, and then the next day go run a 40, go do this, go do that. So I go through that process, have a good combine, and it's time for NFL visits. And I visit the New York Giants, and it's me and 3 other linebackers that they're considering drafting. And we're meeting with the head coach, which at the time was Tom Coughlin, the defensive coordinator, which at the time was Steve Spagnuolo. He's the defensive coordinator for Kansas City, so he's doing a heck of a job up there right now. And then the linebacker coach. So I spend a day and a half with them and these 3 other guys that they're considering. And the very last thing they had us do was they called us up into the linebacker room, and the linebacker coach draws up a defense with the offense on the board. He draws up the offense, draws up the defense. We're all play the same position. So saying what our position was, what our role in the defense was, and erased it and called on me first and asked me to come up and was like, kind of draw everything I drew, explain the defense. I want to get an understanding of what you know about the game of football, your football knowledge, your football IQ, your understanding of the game. Well, that was the first time I realized The hell that I went through in college prepared me for that moment, because when I was injured, I was watching extra film. I was understanding different concepts in different positions. All the position changes, I was a defensive end and I was tunnel vision, but then I got moved to outside linebacker, then inside linebacker, then back to outside linebacker. So I had an understanding of everybody around me that I would never have understood if my path was clear all college. So I get on the board and I draw up the entire offense, I draw up the entire defense, say, a little football talk. I knew exactly the defensive end was in a 6 technique. The D tackle was in a 3 technique. The other nose tackle was in a 1 technique. A 5 technique on the other end. The Sam linebacker is in a 60 alignment. I knew where everybody was lined up, everybody's responsibility. And I even took it a step further and was like, oh, if it's this pass concept, this is how this will play out. This linebacker would have to do this. This corner would have to do that. And I was up on the board for probably like 15 minutes, just breaking it down, what it would look like in run defense, what it would look like in pass defense. I finally finished, I sat down, and I could tell that they were impressed. And I didn't mean to show the other guys up, but they erase it, and the other guys have to go, and they're like, they drew the linebacker position, and it's like, that's all they knew. And fast forward to draft day, and the first round goes, I know I'm not going to go first round. Second day is the second and third round. Second and third round, there's a small chance I could go third round, but most likely not. So not worried about it. But the third day is the 4th round through the 7th round. I'm like, this is my day. I remember waking up early, praying like, God, please just let one team believe in me. One team give me a chance. Please, please, please. And it comes to the 5th round, 174th pick, and the New York Giants select Devon Kennard. And Tom, appreciate it. But in that, Tom Coughlin calls me, and he said, congratulations, and I want to let you know that was one of the most impressive meetings that we've had in my entire career coaching. I've never had a defensive end outside linebacker understand the entire defense the way you did, break it down the way you did. That was extremely impressive. And that was the moment that I realized the concept of delayed gratification. In the moment when I was in college and I was in those dog days and I was going through bouts of depression and I was going through anxiety and what does my life look like and what am I going to do? Day after day, I kept doing what I believed in, what I thought was right, putting the work in, staying on my path. I could have quit. I could have said, you know what, it's not for me, it's not going to play out, I'm not going to work as hard anymore, I'm hurt. I had every reason, every excuse to be on the woe me path and just let it tank. But I stayed. I stayed true to what I believed in, what I thought was right, and kept doing it. And I didn't know what was going to come of it. But then I play get to the NFL, and then Tom Coughlin makes that statement to me, and I'm like, everything that I've been through set me up for that. And the reason why I'm standing here with you guys today is because the lessons I learned in college, it allowed me to have a 9-year NFL career. The versatility that I had. I was able to play multiple different positions. I was never the fastest, the strongest, even the smartest player on the field, but because I had a great understanding of the game of football and film study from all my time being injured and all the things that I went through, I was able to watch film and be like, oh, when they get in this alignment, when the tackle, his foot's cocked a little out, I know it's pass. When it's run, he's a little more square. I'm able to pick up those keys that allowed me to play faster. So even if the other guy is faster than me, I'm able to play a little faster because of the film study I have, because of the preparation, because of the things that I've learned and the things that I picked up in the game. And that put me in a position to have a long-standing career, even when I'm not the fastest, strongest, biggest, any of that. So I tell you guys today, understand the concept of delayed gratification and put in the work, whatever it takes for what you do. What is your business plan within your sphere? And make sure you're doubling down on that. It doesn't matter what everybody else is doing around you. There's going to be some people quitting. There's going to be some people look more popping than you right now. But you got to trust your process and be willing to grow within that and know that on the other side of this, it's gonna work out for you. But what you do now and how you handle those storms is going to dictate what it looks like on the other side. And that's really an important note for you to kind of take is like, man, instant gratification is nice, but delayed gratification is everlasting. So, do you want to be popping for a minute or do you want to be popping for a lifetime? That's the kind of mindset you got to have. And if you want to be popping for a lifetime, then you got to understand the concept of delayed gratification.